Hey folks, what's up? This is Adam here, aka Cena Guy. Welcome to the Movie Vault. Movie Vault's officially back, and here it's going to stay as well because that's what people want to see on my channel, more movie reviews. So that's basically what I've turned the Anti-Cena Guy network into, a movie reviewing channel. Of course, WWE pay-per-views and all that kind of stuff. But today's movie review is on a movie which I really like, and boy, this brings back many memories. And not very good ones either. Not in terms of the movie, because the movie itself is brilliant in my opinion, but it brings back a lot of bad memories as to what nearly happened to me years ago. Okay, I'm going to get straight into the point. This movie right here, Cujo. The first thing they could have done about this movie is improve the cover. I've got this on DVD. When you look closely at the cover of Killjoy there, and the background picture, and the picture of the mother holding the gun, I think it's a pretty poor cover. It looks like a B movie when you look at it at the front cover. To tell you the truth, I think the cover which I had on the VHS years ago was far more better. I mean, now on Blu-ray, it's to show a simple cover. I like the fencing cover with the Cujo name written in blood. That one was pretty unique, but some of them are just simple plain covers, like showing Cujo's teeth with saliva and all that kind of shit. But more than likely, I will get it on Blu-ray, not just because of the front cover, of course, but because I think this is a fantastic film overall. It takes horror to a different level. A level where even animals can cause frightness in a person. And believe me, I know what that's like. I'm a big animal lover, especially with dogs. I'm a huge dog lover. I've owned dogs and big lover of other people's dogs. And I'm one of the biggest dog lovers there is, trust me. However, that doesn't mean that all dogs love me. I came across a terrifying experience once. I'll tell you that little story now. I was about 19 or 20 years old, come back night clubbing. I was pissed out my brain, could hardly stand. But I decided to walk home, and I went through a shortcut, which is through this alleyway where I live. And I encountered this dog. This dog was just sitting there, and when I tried to walk past him, he wouldn't let me go by him. It was pitch black, it was like 3:30 in the morning. You know, he looked at me, he had like these bloodshot eyes. He snarled at me, would not let me go past. So I decided to turn back and go and take another route home. And as I walked away, he followed me. Every time I looked back at him, he snarled, he growled, and then he started barking. And don't forget, I was pissed. I was legless. You know, I was trying to move quickly, and no matter how quick I ran, he followed me. And I thought I was going to be in great danger of getting attacked by this dog. And it wasn't even a big dog either. It was like a mongrel. But a dog's a dog, and even dogs can't be 100% up here sometimes. I think I made a story about the time I nearly got attacked by that dog. Just type in events that scared Anti-Cena Guy on this channel, and it should come up. So even though I'm a big dog lover, I managed to get away from this dog. In the end, he stopped following me and walked the other way. But that was one of the times where I felt really most frightened, being attacked by this dog. And I couldn't defend myself because I was legless. But I was afraid of what was going to happen to me. So when people say they are allergic to dogs, or they have a part of them that says I was terrified by this movie because of what dogs are capable of doing, I totally agree. Okay, but this isn't one of your typical horror movies about zombies or ghosts or anything like that. This is based on events that can happen, and has happened to many people. Loads of people have lost their lives through being attacked by dogs and things like that. So really, the characters in this movie, I thought they acted really well. I felt sorry for the mother and the son who was trapped in the car. Because when you watch movies like this, you've got to imagine you're in their shoes. And what would you do in their situation? How would you get out of the situation? Basically, what would you do? And they didn't have much options, considering I was stuck in a car. They had this 200-pound St. Bernard dog that's got rabies, out of his mind, dangerous, and there's nowhere to go. You're stuck in a broken down vehicle in this farm area, nobody around, no phones. What do you do? I mean, the film opens up with this Bernard dog, He's in perfectly healthy condition. He's chasing a rabbit through the fields. The rabbit goes into its hole, and basically the dog, whose name is Cujo, sticks his head where it shouldn't belong, as you could say, puts his head in the hole where the rabbit ran under, and he starts barking, awakening these bats. The bats get pissed, and one of the bats bites Cujo on the nose. As a result of this, he gets rabies. I mean, things don't happen to Cujo straight away, but throughout the movie he does get worse, and his attitude and aggression changes, and he becomes like this unstoppable, dangerous dog, basically, who starts to attack humans and eventually kills a few of them. But that's for later on in the movie. I mean, in the meanwhile, it introduces these characters. We've got the one character by the name of Donna, who's played by Dee Wallace. She starred in E.T. I liked her in that movie. But if there's any movie that I liked her in, it's definitely got to be this movie where she plays the mother. And she's married to this guy called Vic, who's played by Daniel Hugh Kelly. And they have a son together by the name of Tad, who's played by Danny Pintoro. Now, relationship-wise, their marriage is like on rocky terms. He's always working. He works to his best ability. He feels like he's a good family man. He tries to treat his wife and son with the best ability that he can, offers them love and comfort in return. But he's a very busy individual. But the marriage is on rocky terms, but they don't express it like a typical movie would show you, where they're arguing, beating each other up, or screaming at each other in that type of way. They kind of like get in situations where they don't talk as often. They kind of shut each other out from time to time. But despite all this, they both try and be good parents to the son. I mean, Donna had like an affair years ago. She regrets it. And she feels like the marriage has never been the same since. And she feels like it's her responsibility to make it up, but she doesn't know how. And the tension will always be there between her and the husband, basically. I mean, all the events that happen with Cujo, she feels like she brought it onto herself. She blames herself a lot, this character does. I mean, a lot of people would say they don't feel sorry for her, calling her a bitch and all that kind of stuff. But you can't help but feel sorry for her in certain scenes of this movie. She expresses that character really well. Especially with the situation she's in, where she's in the car with her son and Cujo's attacking the car, basically trying to get on them. I mean, the son himself, he's 6 years old. He has bad dreams from time to time about the monsters in his closet. His dad tries to put bravery inside of him, tries to teach him that there's no monsters in the cupboard, in the closet. Now, one thing I will say about this movie, I love the camera effects in this movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a pretty old movie. I mean, the exact release date, according to what I'm reading right here, was August 12th of 1983. So yeah, for a 1983 movie, I was really impressed with the camera, the camera effects of this movie. I mean, the details about the dog, I'll explain that later, but even when they did the camera angle, like where the boy is running from the closet, like how it turns, in certain directions and all that kind of stuff. But the true effects of what mastermind they did with these cameras is unbelievable later on in the movie with the dog attack scenes and all that. I mean, basically, they try and keep the marriage together, these two couples. They want to get away from city life, and they want to move to this more like countryside area where there's loads of farms. And one neighbour they get introduced by is the owner of the dog Cujo. They have a son themselves, and they have a father, and his father's a bit of an asshole. Doesn't treat the wife properly. Even when he learns that she's won the lottery, he still doesn't seem to give a shit. But she goes away with the money and leaves him with a little bit of money, and he's got to stay by to look after Cujo and their son, of course. But by this time, Cujo's changing. He's getting more angrier. And as scenes go by in this movie, you can tell that Cujo's changing, and not for the better either, because he's getting more bloody, more dirty. He starts to ignore his owners, and he starts to snarl and get more angry at other humans around him. So he's gone from this soft, loyal dog to this unstoppable, angry dog, basically. I mean, just little scenes like where he comes out of the fog, where the little boy's calling him, and he's like, "Cujo, what's up, boy?" And he doesn't attack him, he just ignores him and just walks back away into the fog. And the little boy's fearing that there's something wrong. I mean, Cujo snaps basically towards the end. I mean, he kills his owner. by attacking him. He kills the neighbour. There's even a scene where he rips a copper's throat out when he comes to the aid of the mother and the son. But the most memorable scene in this movie has got to be the ending. I mean, from what I read in the novel, the boy dies from the dehydration and the heat that he suffered from in the car. They didn't put that in the movie. They didn't. Well, at least I don't think they did, because in the book it states clearly, obviously, that the boy died. But they thought that was too gruesome and horrific for the movie, so they made the boy survive, but just barely in the movie. He doesn't get attacked by Cujo. He doesn't get bit in any sort of way. He just gets dehydrated. But there is one gruesome scene where he does attack the mother, which I thought was very graphic. So this movie is graphic in its own way. There's a few kills, but mainly dog attacks. It's mainly focusing on the fear of dogs that some people can be afraid of. Like I say, I couldn't help but feel sorry for some of these characters, what they went through, because I went through a similar experience. I've never been bitten by a dog, but I've come close to being attacked by one, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. And that was only a little mongrel when I was pissed and I couldn't hardly remember anything. So imagine what these characters are feeling when they're trapped in a car in the middle of nowhere and you've got a 200-pound St. Bernard dog who's out of his mind trying to get you. You've got to always try and picture yourself in their shoes, basically. I mean, basically, the father's away on business. The mother and the son are trapped in the middle of this farmyard in the car. The car breaks down. And straight away, Cujo attacks the car. And emotions just flee straight away because the boy thinks it's a monster and he starts screaming and crying. Now, one thing I disagree with is when viewers just tilt their head back and say, oh God, this kid's fucking annoying. Someone kill him already. I hope the dog kills him. But what you're failing to understand is, put yourself in his shoes. I mean, an 8-year-old boy, you got a 200-pound dog attacking the car. He's all bloody, he's all dirty, he's got teeth and, you know, killing his eyes. You can't help but feel that the kid's terrified out of his mind. Because, especially when he sees his mother get attacked. I mean, one can only imagine an 8-year-old witnessing that sort of thing. It's kind of like reminding me of Jaws 2, you know, where that girl on the boat is screaming hysterically every time the shark shows up. You know, put yourself in their position. You're stuck in the middle of nowhere. You've got a great white shark swimming around you. You're going to be screaming hysterically. You know, maybe annoying to the viewers with their screams and their tantrums and the panic attacks, but just try and imagine how they feel. You know, that's the whole point of the characters. You've got to put yourselves in their position, you know. I mean, for a few days they're stuck in this car. They can't open the doors because Cujo is outside the car. And each time they try and attempt to open the car or move it, Cujo just wakes up and he doesn't take his eyes off the car. There's even scenes where he's looking through the windows, staring at the couple. And Donna is now in a situation about what does she do to protect her son and get help. Does she leave the car and go and get help and risk being attacked by Cujo because she's got to save her son straight away? Or does she stay put and hope that help arrives but it could be too late? So it's kind of a bad, tricky situation. And when you're in a situation like that, you don't know what the right answers are. I mean, the horrific scene where she opens the car, Cujo attacks the mother, he jumps in the car, bites into her leg, she's screaming hysterically, she's hitting the dog on the head with this ornament. I think it's like a drinking flask, but she's hitting the dog on the head to try and save her own life. Many viewers will complain about that, saying that's animal cruelty, but it's true facts. No harm came to the animal in this movie, and no harm came to the actual actors. But the scenes where she's actually hitting the dog in the head, and you'd basically do that if you was attacked by a dog. You'd do whatever you would to fucking defend yourself, basically. I mean, I hate animal cruelty. I'm totally against it. But when you're in a situation like that, what do? You just let the dog attack you? Of course you wouldn't. But anyway, she screams hysterically when the dog bites, and the little boy's terrified. He's in the boot of the car screaming, watching his mum get attacked by this giant dog, and she eventually closes the door and she tries to remain calm for the son, saying that everything's going to be okay. And it does like the camera does like a 360 around the car to try and make the suspense seem more, you know, impactful on the viewers. The little boy's crying, he's terrified. And now the mother is now like basically on one leg, she's been wounded. And she's running out of time and options to try and save her son's life basically on her own. What else is there? A cop comes to their aid, but he eventually gets attacked by Cujo. He goes in the barn area where he falls. Cujo basically rips his throat out. That was a good little gruesome scene. There's a scene where the mother, for her son's sake, tries to find some bravery because she leaves the car, and she's like got a bat. And the scenes where she's swinging at the dog with the bat, and we think Cujo has been killed, where he goes to attack her once again, and she stabs the dog with the bat that's broken. She manages to get her son to safety by, well, not exactly safety, but she takes him inside the farmhouse, gives him CPR, rubs water on him to try and relieve him. Cujo revives himself, jumps through the window, and just as about is attacked to the couple again, she blows the dog's brains out with the gun that she got off the copper, from the police car earlier on. And just then, as soon as she kills the dog, the husband comes to their aid, and they're reunited as a family again. But the son's still unconscious, and then the credits roll. So I can understand the reasons why they didn't kill the little boy off. They did it for all the right reasons, I think. You know, in the novel, they just let the child die. But I think that at the time they didn't agree with putting it into a movie, basically. What happened to the couple after that? It was interesting to know what happens, but my nearest guess is they try and reunite them because they try and understand what they could have lost because of the dog, basically. I think this is a fantastic movie. The suspense was definitely there. The chills were there, thinking, what the fuck's going to happen next? How's the mother going to save her son's life and her own? You know, overall, I think it's a fantastic movie. It was a nice little change. We've got loads of movies that star killer dogs, basically. But I think the king movie of all killer dogs has definitely got to be this movie right here, Cujo. I think it's one of Stephen King's finest work. I didn't read the novel. I only know it from the movie. But cast-wise, like I say, you've got Dee Wallace playing Donna, Daniel Hugh Kelly, Danny Pinturo playing the little boy. And so you got a good cast. None of the cast members were annoying, in my opinion. They all expressed their opinions well, especially the little boy. The way he expressed emotion and, you know, being scared. Thought he did a great job as a little actor, especially for a 6-year-old. Dee Wallace's performance in this film was my favourite. The way she tried to make a brave face, where deep down she was frightened, but she was trying to hide it all for her son's sake. She didn't want the son to see her like in a mental breakdown state. Same with Daniel Hugh Kelly's character with Vic. He was good at acting like the typical family father, hard-working type of guy. So, overall, a good movie. I mean, I will state some obvious facts as well. It was directed by Lewis Teague, produced by Robert Singer and Daniel H. Blatt. Running time 93 minutes, so it's a reasonable time for a movie. Got a budget of $8 million and made $21.2 million at the box office. The film itself got mixed, but a lot of people argued it wasn't too true to the novel. Some people consider it not even a horror classic, but just suspenseful and scary, but they don't consider it a horror classic. That's fucking unbelievable, in my opinion. Some people said it was very dull and uneventful, which, again, I find outrageous, because this movie had it all. It was a horror film, but in its own ways. You know, we don't have to have horror movies with ghosts and zombies and all that. Just making an obvious animal like a dog, you know, is eventful, if you get what I mean. It's all there. You can easily make a dog terrifying in this, especially when it's a normal-looking dog with rabies. It's just simple. I mean, my problem is these days, people try hard to make things look too scary. In my opinion, just the obvious look, normal-looking things can be the most scariest, in my opinion, and that goes for dogs as well. And when it's one of the largest dogs in the world, a St. Bernard, who weighs 200 pounds, that makes it even more believable, because it's got more strength, it's got more anger and edge to attack and all that kind of shit. But The special features on this, there's nothing really much to tell. Just moving menus, a photo gallery, and some Stephen King filmography. So there's not much to the features. Although in the Blu-ray, there's probably more special features than on the DVD version. So overall, I think it's a fantastic movie, Cujo. I definitely will get it on Blu-ray in the future. One of my favourite Stephen King's work, basically. Fantastic. Please like, rate, and comment, everyone. And if you've got any questions, leave all your thoughts and comments below and thumb me up, thumb me down. Do what you got to do. That's my review on Cujo. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.